Here.
Commissioner Sherfus, Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner LeBeau, Commissioner Dallas Smith, Commissioner Connors. Mr. Chairman, you have the floor.
Thank you. Can we stand for the invocation?
Bow our head, please. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the tender mercies you give us always. Thank you for the council members represented here, and thank you for the things that you have given us, seen and unseen. We ask that you continue to give us the insight and the guidance to lead the city, and also to provide the services that we're here to provide for the citizens of Port Arthur. We ask all these things with your son, in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. But pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we've all received the minutes from our regular meeting last month and our annual meeting. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and moved by Mr. Rafis and second by Mr. Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries to accept our minutes. No presentations, communications. We do have a presentation?
Mr. Chairman, prior to you going into your agenda, I would like to introduce our new city manager, assistant city manager, Mr. Scott Moore. Scott come to us with a lot of experience. Spent some time with Scott, and I think he's going to be a tremendous help for this city. Welcome to Port Arthur, Texas, Mr. Moore. Like to say anything to the board, sir?
Thank you for allowing me to, Floyd, for inviting me. I just want to let you guys know that from what I'm seeing and what I know, learning, there's a lot of good things ahead of the city, and EDC is going to play an intricate part of making sure we get there. And I want to make sure that as a city, Mr. Burton and the council, once we basically get our plan, like I was sharing with Mr. Floyd and George early today, right now the lights are off. Once we turn the lights on, and if we operate with the lights on, there's going to be people seeing we're committed to let people come and invest in the community, and we want those partnerships to take us to that next level. And those that serve on this board, we all roll our sleeves up together. We'll get there. So, that's what I'm here for, to help Mr. Burton, the staff, and council get there, and just be willing to do all I can for you. Thank you.
Mr. Moore, we certainly thank you for stopping by and taking the time to introduce yourself to us. We're glad to have you in the city. I did get a chance to read the write-up that was there about you, so it's a pleasure to meet you, and hopefully we'll be able to work together for many, many years to come. Any other presentations?
That's all I have,
Communication?
Mr. Chairman. That's all. Is that all the communication we have? Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Communications?
In your package, as this Thursday from 4 to 7, they're going to have a meet and greet of our new city manager at the Civic Center. So if you guys could come out there and shake that Mr. Burton hand, that certainly would be good for us. I think all you guys know Mr. Burton. You come from a planning background. You certainly understand economic development, and I think between him and Mr. Moore, the time I've sit with these guys, they certainly understand what we do, and I think you're going to see a lot of good things happening between the city and EDC in the future. So if you guys could make it out there Thursday, anytime from 4 to 7 is open to the public. Certainly would like to see you guys out there.
Yeah, we don't have to RSVP though, huh?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Where's
No.
the park?
At the Civic Center.
Oh, Citizen.
Yes, sir. That's all the communication I have, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. There being no unfinished business or consent agenda items, we'll move to the non-consent agenda items. Item number 1, we're going to move to executive session. And also, while I'm speaking, item number 5, we're going to move to executive session as well. So we will begin with item number 2, to discuss for possible consideration approving invoice payment to Cat 5 Resources. Mr. Baptiste?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, Cat 5, if you guys have not been made aware, we all know that St. Mary's Hospital is closing down. I've been negotiating with St. Mary's Hospital to get the generator that was they use out there. They have donated it to us. I have engaged Cat 5 to remove the generator from its location and put it in another location, service that generator so that it could be made ready for the Port Arthur News Building and possibly this building also. It's a very used generator. And it's going before the council because of the cost, $30,000. And we're going to have that on the council very next meeting. So I'm asking you guys to approve this contingent upon the council approving it.
Any questions? May I have a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr. Sharifis and second by Mr. LeBeau that we approve the invoice payment to Cat 5 in the amount of $30,610.13. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, to discuss for possible consideration an economic incentive agreement with Team Fabricators, LLC. Mr. Baptiste?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Team Fabricator have come back to us and asked us for another incentive. They are building another bay for steel fabricating, pipe welding, and they also want to build another paint shop. It's about a $12 million investment they're going to be putting on out there. I think it's about 20 jobs that are going to be created. Of those 20 jobs, let me look at this just to make sure. I think 8 of them they have committed will be Port Arthur resident. Eight of them will be Port Arthur resident. Based upon the numbers, we are asking you guys to award these guys $324,000 toward the project, about a $12 million project.
And it'll be secured with a letter of credit from Wells Fargo.
Right.
And this is one of your, it's not just, it's separate and different from your infrastructure one. This is, they're getting credits based on job creation and payroll creation, which is all set forth in the performance milestones.
They currently in our business park?
No, sir. They on Proctor and Main. They're on Proctor and Main.
Oh, yeah.
They expanding the operation.
I know, we're out there by the ship channel, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Any other questions? May I have a motion? May I have a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr. Sharifis and second by Mr. Smith that we approve the economic incentive agreement with Team Fabricators, LLC. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, to discuss for possible consideration approving a pre-employment training agreement for certified nursing assistant. Mr. Baptiste?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, I'm going to ask Crystal. Crystal, you want to come talk about this one?
Good evening, Board. Last month, we approached you all with this Angels Divine Touch Corporation, who will be doing nurses assistants, nurses aid training for 20 persons. We have went back, drafted up the agreement. Everyone is on board with it, and we are here to ask you to go ahead and approve it. It is for 20 students at a cost of $15,080 per year, and that is a one-year period with an option to renew for 2 additional one-year periods.
Now, the $15,080, that is for 20 of them. I think the tuition cost is about $650, is that right? And the other thing, Crystal, don't we have some benchmark how they get paid, or?
Right, so the actual cost is $754. I apologize, I had to look back at the paperwork. And yes, they will get paid in 3 different milestone marks, so they'll get paid a portion of that once the student is enrolled a certain amount of hours. They'll provide us with proof of that. Then they'll receive additional payment once they've completed and have been certified. And then the last portion will be whenever they've placed or assisted the student get placed in a job.
So,
And that's spelled out on page 2 of the agreement in front of you.
so, you know, we asked you guys for $15,080, but, and that's contingent upon everybody going through it, making 100% back 1,000. If somebody drop off, that money is not spent. Follow me?
I think that was the question we had last meeting when we discussed this. We wondered how that was going to be structured.
Yes, sir.
And I think that answers those questions.
Yeah. As Crystal said, there's an enrollment payment, there's a completion payment, and a placement payment, right?
The only thing we did not include that was discussed last time was additional supplies. We decided that we're not able to fund additional supplies. There are resources in the community that we can direct them to if they do need some assistance, but we'll just be covering their tuition cost.
And the only other thing I want the board to be made aware, this operation is in the city of Grove, but we're only paying for Port Arthur residents.
Correct.
Any other questions? Thank you, Crystal. May I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Smith and second by Mr. Sharif is that we approve the pre-employment training agreement for certified nursing assistants. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 6, to discuss for possible consideration and economic incentives with Abatics.
That's a good way, how you pronounce it, George? George? Abate.
What is it? Abatics. I was close.
Yeah.
Mr. Baptiste.
Yes, sir. This is a company out of the Dallas area. They're looking for about 3 acres of land in the business park that will build about a 20 to 30,000 square foot building. They sell supplies to the industrial plants. They originally planned to put 4 people in there, and those 4 people are going to be Port Arthur folks. Again, this incentive is based upon total investment and number of job creation. We recommend them $171,544.
We already received a letter on this one?
Yes,
We
sir.
did? Okay, that was last meeting. Got you.
This is just
Any
authorizing us to go ahead and prepare and negotiate the incentive agreement and then bring that back to you all at next meeting.
Okay. May I have a motion? Any other questions? I'm sorry.
One other thing I want to show you guys, if you look at page 5 of 12 of the impact analysis, when I run the numbers, if you look at the 5 of 12, I'm looking at this page right here. It shows that based upon what you guys are providing those folks, within about 3.5 years, you get your return. After that, it's 100% yours. You know, so pretty good deal. We try to stick at 3.5 to 4 or 5 years to get our return back on our investment. This one is at 3.5 years.
Okay, so just for clarity, this is right before the agreement is drawn up, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, gotcha. Any other questions? May I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Sharifis and second by Mr. Smith that we do enter into economic incentive with Abatix. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent for 1700 Jefferson Drive. Mr. Baptiste?
Yes, sir. Commissioners, we received a letter of intent for 1700 Jefferson Drive. It's the old Market Basket place. I think the client is looking at a retail portion of the building. I think it's about 50,000 square foot building. A portion of that building will be retail. The other portion will be a distribution warehouse facility. I do have Mr. Ari here, one of the owner of the building here, if you guys would like to hear from him and their plan. Joe? I thought I saw Joe. Yeah.
Evening.
Good evening.
I don't know if y'all remember me. I was here, about 2 years ago. I did a project at Tia Juanita's, right there on Jimmy Johnson. I came for some EDC help then, and I think you got $300,000 worth of infrastructure help on that one. And, with that, I think on their first 3 months, their sales have been, I think, about $2.5 million. So we got one of the top restaurants in the area, with thanks to the EDC, and I showed that paperwork to Floyd about what we did with the money. Just, we're reaping the benefits now. And so now with this Market Basket building, it's been an eyesore for the last 30 years here in the city of Port Arthur. And we got a good vision for it, so we got some good potential tenants that we can definitely get to the area. But it is going to take a lot of cost. I think our total investment there is going to be about $3.5 million for the whole investment as far as redoing the parking lot, all the infrastructure, because they ripped all the electrical, all the wiring from the parking lot, the street, the light, the parking lot lights. So it's going to take a lot to get that place up and done right. So anything from the EDC that'll help us a lot in luring these, big tenants from Houston that we're in negotiations with back to this area, So.
That was my question. Did you already have some plans for tenants? Because we just did a project not far from where you're trying to do yours that is still it's finished, but it's empty.
Yes. I think whenever I came here the first time for the Tia Juanita's project, I think those same questions were asked from me from day one. And I wasn't able to commit to, tell you, yes, we do have them right there. But it's the same situation applies here. I've been in the business forever, me and throughout my family. So we got a bunch of contacts, and we're in negotiations day to day with these companies, and they're basically committed as long as we can get the numbers right. And that's where EDC comes in. If it gives us we can offset some of the costs where we can make the deal lucrative to them tenants, we can get them here. And very confident we can, that we can get them here. And, in that spot, they came and looked at it, looked at the buildings, and they're excited, we're excited, and I'm very confident we can get it done. That place is special to me personally. I went to school right next door, so I've been seeing that building vacant for since I can remember, since I was at Memorial, so it's very special, so very confident we can get it right, get it together.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I used to shop there, and went to school there too. But the thing it is as a contractor, it looks like y'all would have seen the high cost of redoing this building before y'all purchased it.
Correct.
Because it's been down for so long, people have been living in it, in and out, in and out.
Yes.
And I was just wondering about that. Y'all did check it out before you bought it?
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, we checked it out, and we secured financing for it, but, I mean, we secured the finance for it. We're willing to do everything it takes to get it right, but then, if we don't get the assistance from EDC, for this, it just makes the rent price go up to the tenant, and that's a very important thing to the tenancy. If we can get infrastructure help, it lowers the price per square foot to a tenant and achieving a good, solid tenant there long term.
So you thinking half of it possibly would be a warehouse, that's different, but the other one would be retail,
It'll be a retail supermarket.
a supermarket?
Yes.
One supermarket?
One supermarket, and it's going to be 18,136 square feet is the supermarket.
So you already know who's going in there?
Yes. Can't disclose that yet, but
That's not a problem,
we are in direct negotiations on a daily with them at the moment.
Well, I was like Mr. Anderson, I pass once a week at least and see that other little 5 or 6 dead.
Yes.
And so he was also, what I understood, gonna have on the end of his, he was gonna have a big supermarket come in there.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. And I was just,
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Not trying to brag or anything like that.
And Tijuanitas, we eat there too, and that's a good place, But it's a different location. You're at a
Yes.
perfect location at Tijuanitas.
And actually, that market basket is a perfect
Yeah.
location. I take that market basket location over Jimmy Johnson any day. To me, I'm very confident, that's where people want to be. We got a big neighborhoods around there. We got most of the population is there behind the market basket in that area more than Jimmy Johnson. So for a big supermarket to be willing to go over there, it's lucrative for them. They did their geographics, and that's a perfect location for them.
'Cause I shop at both of the Mexican restaurants there on Guffway.
Yeah, La Vaquita
Yeah,
and
and
correct.
they're packed all the time.
Mhm.
So
And that's something they base, the companies out of Houston that we're working with, and they all deal with the same distributors and all that, so they see the numbers going on, and that's what makes it more lucrative for them to want to be here.
Okay.
They did all that. They did all their studies, everything, and they're excited. They're ready for us to give them a green light if we can get to these numbers where they want to be at per square foot. So
So part would be a supermarket and the other would be a warehouse?
would be a storage facility, yes, a distribution center.
Okay,
and we're-
but they're two separate?
Two separate,
businesses.
correct.
Okay.
So it'll be 32,000 square feet worth of a storage facility or distribution center.
At one time, there was talking about, they tore down that Baptist church, they was gonna build an H-E-B there.
Well,
But is that gone?
that's
off the table?
No, that's still on the table.
Still
And
on the
from what I've heard, 2022 is supposed to be where they make a deal or something like that. But I know they're having issues with the Union Hall that's there.
Yeah.
They're wanting, I think, like $6 million for that little Union Hall. So that's kind of the holdup on it there.
So they want that also?
Yeah, they need
to make the deal.
that.
So how would that affect y'all's operation?
It's
what do you
not.
think?
I think we got a strong enough tenant.
Yeah.
They have I think a total of maybe 70 locations in the Houston and Dallas area. So, and they know about the H-E-B that's coming.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a whole different. They got inside the supermarket. They got a big restaurant on the inside. Their numbers wise is about $1 million to 1.2 a month in taxable sales. Is what the numbers they're giving us. Just that one supermarket.
Well, it'd be nice to do something with that building. Like you said, it's an eyesore, and then it's not bringing in any revenue.
Nothing at all.
And
We're gonna go A to Z with that place. That place we're gonna have it all lit up, redo the whole outside, inside. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice, and we're excited to get it going. Oh yeah.
Other questions? Okay, so basically we just need a motion to approve them to move forward with the letter of intent. Do I have a motion?
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Smith and second by Mr. LeBeau that we move forward with the letter of intent for 1700 Jefferson Drive. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much.
You have a good day.
Item number 8, to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent from C.O. Valette.
Yes, again, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, we have another letter of intent from Mr. Valette. He is here to, if you guys want to hear about his project also. Mr. Valette?
Good evening. My name is C.L. Valet. I'm doing a Walk-Ons restaurant. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Walk-Ons in Lake Charles, but I've been there 4 years in that business, and it's the first year we did $6.5 million. Second, we did 6.7. This last year, we right at 7 million. And I'm going to do one on Jimmy Johnson, 2729 Jimmy Johnson. And we're going to have 140 employees, probably 75 full-time. And I project this business would do a minimum of $8 million a year. We're going to do a 6,000 square foot strip center right next to it. Any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Yeah, what size is the restaurant?
It's a little over 10,000 square feet.
10,000, that's a big restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of, can you give us a little information about what the restaurant's about?
Yeah, it's I have like 90 TVs in. It's kind of a, it started out as a sports bar, but the food is not sports bar food. I mean, we have Cajun food, steak, good hamburgers, just a variety of food in the menu. A lot of seafood.
Where's that? I see it's on Jimmy Johnson, but what's it?
That's right by Harbor Freight and the hotel that's being built across the street.
Jimmy Johnson on the west side, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You're not building it right now.
Well, we're getting ready to
I
start.
mean, there's a couple of buildings going up.
Yeah, no, we haven't started
Across
construction.
from the hotel.
Yeah, across from the hotel.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions?
No, I've been to the one in Lake Charles just to see it.
Good.
And very impressed with it. And it was packed, And I
Yeah.
think, and that was a late lunch, so I can imagine when the kids are all around there. And I think that's a good kid, I don't say kid, it's going to do good.
Yeah, and the thing about it, the location is not nearly as good as the location over here. And that's because we do not have a real big lunch crowd, even though you thought it was good. Lunch crowd here would be a lot better, especially with the hotel across the street for your Monday, Tuesday night workers in town. So, this restaurant's going to do a minimum of $8 million to $9 million a year. No doubt in my mind. Lake Charles is doing $7 million.
So are you personally, is your franchise or your restaurant, or are you just a contractor building?
No, it's my restaurant.
It's your restaurant?
Yes, sir.
I mean, is it a franchise?
Yes, it is. Yes, and you could pull them up. It's Walk-Ons, and you can pull one up in Lake Charles, a national. Drew Brees owns 25% of the corporation. So, I mean, he plays a big role in this thing.
Like you're going to have all the contractors that's not even in town yet captured,
Yes, sir.
because they have to eat, and you have a perfect location. You don't have to go around and around to get
That's
to
right.
it. It's right there off of
Yes,
Jimmy
sir.
Johnson. And that's going to be a great thing.
Yeah,
I just
and,
can't wait till
you've got the
it
medical
happens.
center. Everybody past
That's
that
right.
go to the medical center. So I think it's a great location. That's why we're excited about it over here.
We're definitely excited that you are considering coming, or that you are coming
Thank
to
you.
Port Arthur.
No, we
Not considering
appreciate
that you are coming. to
Well, my
Port Arthur.
wife's from Port Arthur, so she kind of pushed the deal.
All right.
Commissioner, I will say, when I first spoke to Mr. C.O. and them, I think their plan was to go to Beaumont, and I want to tell his wife, thank you for convincing him to come to Port Arthur.
Okay, so we just need a motion to move forward with this letter of intent.
So
Madam-
moved.
It's been moved by Mr. Sharifis and second by Mr. Smith that we move forward with the letter of intent for CO Valette. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. Item number 9, to discuss for possible consideration awarding a bid for grass cutting at Highway 73 Business Park. Mr. Baptiste?
Yes, sir. Commissioners, we had 2 bids. One was eliminated or disqualified, so we ended up with 1 bid from, we had an Aura Lawn Service. He bidded $350 per acre. The other, Consider Us, bidded $29, which is less than what we're currently paying for the 73 Business Park. We're asking you guys to award this to Consider Us. It's a 1-year contract with an option to renew for 2 additional 1-year period.
Any questions? Can I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Smith and second by Mr. Sharifas that we do award the grass cutting at Highway 73 Business Park to Consider Us. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Let's see. Item number 10, to discuss for possible consideration awarding a bid for the landscaping and irrigation at the Spur 93 Business Park. Mr. Baptiste?
Yes, sir. Commissioners, Chairman, on this particular project, we only got 1 bid. One bid, bid came in pretty high, but I feel very confident that these people will do the job that we want done. We have always had problems with keeping that park, especially the front portion, the irrigation and looking good. These folks here, they the same folks who have the contract with Lamar State College, Port Arthur, Lamar State College, Beaumont, and when you pass by those places, always well manicured, and I would recommend going with these folks because it's very important that we keep that front looking good.
Any questions?
In that bid package, you guys, there's going to be 29 cut in 1 year, so you could see they cutting 3 times a month. The beds, they're going to clean the bed, the irrigation, they're going to inspect the irrigation. They tell us exactly what they're going to do, and so for this deal here, I have no problem. I'm very confident what these guys do. They do a great job.
Mr. Baptiste, these people are the same ones that do Shangri-La?
Same folks, sir.
And that's
Yes, sir.
high quality.
And we have had a lot of concern with the maintenance of that Spur 93, especially in the front portion. It's the first thing you see when you come into that park, and we want it to look good. So for the extra dollars, I think we're gonna get our return on investment.
Oh, if it's any consolation, I'm a landscape fanatic, and I'll tell you what, I appreciate good-looking landscape and wish there was more of it throughout the city. So our place needs to shine,
Yes, sir.
That's great.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments? May I have a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr. Sharifas and second by Mr. Smith that we award the bid for landscaping and irrigation to Phrase Landscape. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 11, to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent from Walker 414 Investments LLC and Miss B's Retail Center.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Baptiste.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, here's another letter of intent for a project at 6017 and 5949 West Port Arthur Road. I think it's two businesses, they're looking for infrastructure to build a sidewalk. Okay, do have the clients here. If the clients want to come and tell a board about that project, we certainly would appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's two businesses. One of us is an operating restaurant, and then we have retail space next door. Bought the property originally and didn't realize the building size. We didn't have enough room for parking, so I bought the property next door. And now we're trying to get this retail space open, and we need additional parking for actually both businesses.
Okay, so so right now you have a restaurant and you're looking to open a retail center, right? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what you're going to put in the retail center?
No, we're just gonna get it up and able to lease. We don't have any tenants lined up at this time.
Okay.
But,
Due to the parking.
Yeah.
Because of the parking.
Okay. If I'm not mistaken,
City,
I think you have to, Kate, you have to have 2 COs first to do this, or this doesn't apply to this?
It does. It's an infrastructure, so you have to qualify for infrastructure incentives. You have to have 2 separate businesses. So if in the retail space you could have, I don't know how large it is, but that's what Floyd and I will work with you all on to see whether or not it could possibly be divided into 2 retail centers. And that's kind of what we tie the incentive to. But this is just approving possibly to move forward. So Mr. Batista and I can work with them to see if this would work or not and meet the guidelines.
Right. But thank you so much.
We have some pictures, and we'd like to, maybe you explain where the concrete would be poured and the cover, if you don't mind.
What kind of food is there? Do they serve there?
so that's Miss B's restaurant, that's, I'm the owner of the
Can you
restaurant.
speak in the mic, ma'am, so we can capture it?
That's Miss B's restaurant, and, we're a delivery, and what we do is we cater mainly to the plants. So we, cater to every plant here, Motiva, Total, all of them. We do hot lunches. They call us in the morning, they tell us how many lunches they need for meetings and things like that. And then we get it all together and we deliver it for them. And then we do have drive up as well. So a lot of workers come and pick up lunches as well, but we really don't have any parking for the drive up. So the more parking we can get, the better. It'll increase our sales as well. And it's been totally redone since, well, that picture looks nice.
So people don't actually eat on the
No.
premises?
No, they usually stay in their vehicles, the workers. But behind this is where we're gonna allocate for the parking. That's the side, which that's like our drive-through, and there's really nowhere to.
Is that the same building that we were looking at before?
Yes, that's the other side. And now this is the building that's across, right next door, so the concrete part right there is the road. And then he's totally redone the facility next door, which it was, very demolished. Mhm.
correct. This,
Where's the parking lot?
Okay, that's the one that had the fire and
Yes, and
Correct.
it exploded and,
For store.
yeah, and he,
Ma'am, let me ask you, behind the building, that green grass area, how far do y'all come back this way, your property?
20 feet, just 20 feet off the back of that building.
20, okay.
Yes.
Not enough to park cars?
No,
Okay.
no, so he got it approved from the city to be able to do the parking on, behind Miss B's, which is all this area right here you see.
Flags are right there. where
All
you-
that area.
So is that a city street next to that building?
Yes, sir.
And is that a easement, a ditch or something?
Correct.
So the parking gonna be on the opposite side?
Correct. We do a culvert and do a bridge.
Got a gate?
I think he has another picture of that. That's where it would be, right there, right to the
The other
left
side
of
of
the
the fire
ditch.
hydrant. Correct.
Behind, and I think if you keep going, you can see, there it
Yeah,
is, right
that's
there.
it.
That's where you want it.
Yeah, so we have to put culverts in and have a nice way to get across the street as well, and then it'll help utilize parking for our
So
restaurant
that
as well.
retail would park there, go across and walk across the street to their businesses.
There is some parking on that other building, it's just not very much. Those would probably be more handicap spaces.
That's probably about a half acre, that property there.
This is just the letter of intent, so this would just authorize Floyd and I to get with you, just to discuss the requirements more and what a possible incentive would look like.
And Kate, I think the question was because there were two separate buildings, but because is both of the buildings owned by the same folks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, man. Okay, I think that answered the question.
Right.
It's two or more.
Okay,
Thank you.
so right now, we're just looking for a motion to allow Mr. Matisse and Kate to move forward with this letter of intent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr. Sharafis and second by Mr. Smith that we move forward with the letter of intent for Walker 414 Investments and Mrs. B's Rental Service. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much for your time. Okay, we're down to reports. Do we have a workforce development report?
Yes, Renata and I are on vacation this week, but I will tell you guys, at last council meeting, the council did approve the 5 scholarship for Lamar State College. So she is working on the 5 scholarship for Lamar State College. And my understanding, the summer intern, summer pre-employment for youth will be on the next council agenda, so she's preparing for that also. I know she has sent some letters to all the schools, councils for the scholarship program, but we're beginning to work on that. We started late, but this took a while before the council approved it, so I just want to let you guys know what's going on. Crystal have no compliance report, what have happened, guys, before you guys receive marketing, and it's the employment and training, we have kind of restructured our deal because of all the employment and training that we have. Renata have taken on some of the workforce development work outside of the economic incentive that you guys award. All those companies or entities that y'all offer economic incentives to, Crystal still monitor the contract, make sure they meet all the conditions of the contract, and any needs that business needs, she works with them. But Renata will work with all these other employers. On my CEO report,
Financial report.
financial, I'm sorry, Rachel.
You ready to get it over with, huh?
Good evening, Board. The report tonight is going to be effective for January 2020. We'll start with the first page of your packet. Our projected revenue for fiscal year 2020 is $4,890,978. As of January the 31st of 2020, our current expenditures is $572,322, which leaves us an excess of revenue of $4,318,656. We have a debt service this fiscal year of $821,419. Of that amount, as of January the 31st, $205,355 has been applied to that debt service. That leaves a net change in fund balance of $3,497,237. Our fund balance at the beginning of the year is $8,340,696. Fund balance at the end of the year is a projected amount of $11,837,933. Our current year remaining budget is $10,046,707. And so the sheet behind is a list of all the line items in our actual expenditures and our year-to-date balance. It breaks it down into your salaries, your supplies and materials, maintenance, contract services, capital outlay. If you have any questions on any of these amounts or would like to know what they entail, I'm in my office from Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Do the same. All right, Mr. Baptiste, CEO report.
On my CEO report, the only thing I'm gonna report to you guys, I think this coming Thursday at 10 o'clock, the council will have a special call meeting dealing with the proposition that you guys talk about. We did submit some language to the city. The city did modify the language that we submitted. They did post the agenda with the modified changes the city have made. I will certainly be there and make the council aware of the intent and the reason why we removed some of the language that the city put back in. The language that the city put back into the proposition is maintenance and operation. And I heard the board, and I don't think the board wanted to spend their money on maintenance and operation. They wanted to spend it on projects, and not the maintenance and operation of those projects, strictly on the project. But the city did put back maintenance and operation. I will be asking the council to remove that prior to them passing it Thursday.
All right.
Let me ask you a question, Floyd. Did the city, is this concerning the Port Arthur News Building?
This is the parks. Remember that committee?
The parks that we talked to
Yes,
the
sir.
director about? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Remember we met, one of the things we said we did not want to maintain or operate the projects. We were strictly funding projects.
Yes, boy, I'm big backer of that language because you can eat up all your money just taking care of that stuff. We don't want to be cutting grass.
Well, this is not about cutting grass.
What's it
The
about?
maintenance and the operation is strictly the maintenance and the operation for the project. It's to maintain, if something break, you could take the money and fix it with that money. You know, I think the responsibility to maintain and repair that should be on the city.
Boy, I'll tell you what, that could be a lot of things.
Yes, sir.
You know, if it's not spelled out.
Well, yeah, and that's why we need the city need to spell it out, because they have to have some skin in the game, man.
Right.
You know, right now, they're looking strictly for us to fund park and recreation when we're just trying to help them out, you know.
All right, there be nothing else at this time. We're going to move to executive session in order to comply with the requirements of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code prior to going into closed meeting, proceeding officer, City of Port Arthur Economic Development Corporation. should make the following public announcements. A public meeting or effective session will be held pursuant to the following sections of Chapter 551 Government Code, Section 071, Section 072, and Section 074, and Section 087. At this time, we'll move to executive session. John, I tried to stretch my meeting out. The idea is for them to
I can't. Man.
Call the roll.
Yeah, well, yes, he is. Now that I'm a partner, he's not technically, but yeah, he's still, he's
Let's just say you have a problem. Let me know you want to bring it to your control. You just say, I'm gonna stay home and I'll look it up.
yeah, I'll just stay home, work from home. We have a, we have a home, we have a home office area with a desk. So, I have to say, like, granted, I cannot mind doing like my meetings because if I need to stay home with the kids, or the kids party at school, I could go all day and then come home and go at night. Well,
I think it's going to be okay.
Thanks so much.
it's not all about Saturday, all the
Let me tell you, that was a good deal. When I retired, it's like, well, can I keep, she said, no, no more.
Okay, it's 7:26, and we want to call the meeting of the Economic Development Corporation back to order. Have a roll call, please.
Carol Anderson,
Here.
John Sharpus, Christopher Smith, Jerry LaBeouf, Dallas Smith, and Ronna Connor. We have a quorum.
Thank you so much. We have two items that we need to have action on. Item number one is to discuss for possible consideration approving a guaranteed maximum price for 549 4th Street. Mr. Baptiste?
Yes, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, as I said to you guys, during the week, myself, the lawyers, and the team, both the architect and the contract manager, we met for about 2-3 hours. We ironed out all the deal, and I'm happy to say that we've reached the guaranteed maximum price of $7.25 million, and asking you guys for approval.
A motion? Or any questions?
Yeah, I would like to say, we have a team here, both the architect and also the construction manager here, and as I said to you guys before, this was a guaranteed maximum price, and working with a guaranteed maximum price, you work as a team, and I just want to come in and say thank both Nathan and Alan for working as hard as you guys did to get us where we are today. I know it took us a little while longer, but I certainly appreciate all the effort you guys put into this thing to get us where we are. And I think it's going to be all right, my friends. Thank y'all very much.
A motion? Okay.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Above and seconded by Mr. Sharafis that we approve our guaranteed maximum price with CTEX for $7.25 million. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much. The next item that we need to look at is to discuss for possible consideration approving an amendment to the Standard Alloy Agreement. Mr. Baptiste.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, we have been in negotiation with Standard Alloy for about 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe a year. I think we have come to some consensus. As you guys know, Standard Alloy purchased 22 acres of land in our Spur 93 Business Park. When they got out there, we found out that we did not, the park was not equipped with enough electricity to provide them the service that they needed. The amendment is to upgrade the utility electrical distribution system to 2,200 horsepower at an estimated cost by entity for $750,000. And what we have agreed to do is pay not 50% of that cost, which is $362,500. Standard Alloy will upgrade this from, once we get to 22, they will upgrade it from 22 to 5,000, but that would be at their cost.
Any questions? We have a motion.
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr. Sharafis and second by Mr. Smith that we approve the amendment to the incentive agreement with Standard Alloy to include moving the electricity up to 2,200 horsepower, and we're paying 50% of that cost. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. At this time, let me thank y'all for allowing me to be your board president for this session, and I really appreciate you entrusting that into me. Now, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
It's been moved and seconded. We go home. All in favor?
Thank you very much.